Okay, so you found it. A Toyota Camry with 200,000 miles on the odometer, listed for $4,500, maybe $5,000 if it's a nicer trim. Your first instinct is panic. 200,000 miles sounds like a death sentence. Your second instinct, if you know anything about Camrys, is the opposite. You've heard the stories, taxi drivers running these things to 400,000 miles. Your uncle's Camry that just won't die. So you think, this is basically a free car with a few more years left in it. Buy it cheap, drive it into the ground, save yourself a car payment for the next 3 years. Here's the problem. Neither one of those instincts is actually running the numbers. A 200,000-mile Camry is not a death sentence, and it is not a free car. It is a very specific financial bet with its own cost structure, its own failure points, and its own break-even math that almost nobody actually sits down and calculates before they hand over the cash. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what that bet looks like, what it can cost you if it goes wrong, and what it can save you if you play it right. Let's start with what you're actually buying, because a 200,000-mile Camry is not one car. It's at least 4 different purchases wearing the same badge. There's the one-owner Camry with a full dealership service history. Every oil change stamped in a folder, timing chain and water pump already done at $150,000 as preventive maintenance. That car, even at 200,000 miles, is a fundamentally different asset than the next category. The unknown history Camry bought from a 3rd or 4th owner. No records. An odometer reading you're trusting on faith. Then there's the fleet or rental return Camry, driven hard by strangers who never had to pay for the gas or the brakes, serviced on a schedule but rarely babied. And finally, there's the salvage title or flood title Camry, the one that looks identical in the listing photos but is carrying damage history that will not show up until it's already yours. Same mileage number on all 4. Completely different financial risk underneath it. And this is the first thing that trips up a first-time buyer. They price shop on mileage and year, when the real pricing variable is which of these 4 cars they're actually looking at. So before we talk about ongoing costs, let's talk about what it costs to get in the door, because even a cheap used Camry has an entry fee that's bigger than the sticker price. The car itself, depending on generation and trim, runs somewhere between $3,500 and $7,000 at 200,000 miles. That's your headline number, the one in the online listing. But that's not what you're actually spending to drive it home. Sales tax alone, depending on your state, adds anywhere from 0 to nearly 9% on top of the purchase price. Title and registration fees run $75 to $300 depending on your state. And here's the one almost nobody budgets for correctly: the pre-purchase inspection. An independent mechanic will run a full inspection for $100 to $200, and skipping this step is the single most common mistake people make on a high-mileage used car purchase. Because the visible condition of a Camry at 200,000 miles tells you almost nothing about what's happening inside the transmission or around the head gasket. Then there's insurance. A car this old and this cheap usually only needs liability coverage. But even liability only on an older sedan runs $50 to $120 a month, depending on your driving record and location, meaning you're already committing $600 to $1,400 a year before the car has moved an inch. Add it up. A $4,500 Camry can easily cost $5,200 to $6,000 to actually own and insure through year 1, before a single repair. That's the real entry price, not the listing price. Now here's where it gets interesting, because this is the part that separates the people who make this bet correctly from the people who get burned. A car isn't one machine. It's a collection of systems with completely different lifespans, and at 200,000 miles, you are essentially buying a bundle of components that are all sitting at different points on their own individual clock. The engine and transmission on a well-maintained 4-cylinder Camry are frequently good for 300,000 miles or more. This is not marketing. This is the reason Camrys have the reputation they have. Toyota's 2 AZFE and later A25A engines, combined with fairly simple automatic transmissions in most trim years, are mechanically some of the most durable powertrains ever mass-produced for a mainstream sedan. That's the good news, and it's real. But the suspension components, the wheel bearings, the CV axles, the struts, the sway bar links are usually not original by 200,000 miles, and if they are, they're due. Struts typically need replacement somewhere between 80,000 and 150,000 miles. If a seller tells you the suspension is all original at 200,000 miles, that's not a selling point. That's a warning that you're about to inherit a repair bill. The brake system gets replaced multiple times over 200,000 miles as routine maintenance, so that's not usually the surprise. The surprise is almost always the timing chain guides on higher mileage four-cylinder Camrys, which can start to rattle and, in a worst-case scenario, fail catastrophically if ignored. And the water pump, which on many Camry generations is driven internally by the timing chain, meaning replacing it isn't a simple $150 job. It's a labor-intensive teardown that can run $600 to $1,200 depending on the shop and the generation. And then there's the one system that catches almost everyone off guard, the electrical and sensor network. A 200,000-mile car has 200,000 miles of vibration, heat cycles, and corrosion working on every connector, sensor, and wiring harness under the hood. Oxygen sensors, mass airflow sensors, ignition coils. None of these individually are expensive, $80 to $250 each, but they tend to fail in a cluster as the car ages, which means a check engine light at 200,000 miles is rarely a single $100 fix. It's usually the first of 3 or 4 related failures over the following year. Here's the mechanism almost nobody explains clearly, and it's the entire key to understanding whether a high-mileage Camry is a smart buy or a slow-motion money pit. People assume the risk with an old car is the big catastrophic failure, the blown engine, the dead transmission. That assumption is mostly wrong. Toyota's four-cylinder powertrains rarely fail catastrophically if they've been maintained. The real cost of a 200,000-mile Camry isn't one big repair. It's the compounding frequency of small repairs, what mechanics call death by 1,000 cuts. A sensor here, a wheel bearing there, an AC compressor next month. None of them individually feels like a crisis, but stacked across 12 months, they add up to more than most owners expect, and they arrive at unpredictable intervals, which is exactly what makes budgeting for this car harder than budgeting for a car payment. Industry repair cost data consistently shows that annual maintenance and repair costs on vehicles over 150,000 miles average somewhere between $1,200 and $2,000 a year, once you include both routine maintenance and the unpredictable stuff. That's the real payment on a paid-off high-mileage Camry. It doesn't arrive as a fixed bill of $300 a month like a car loan would. It arrives as $80 in March, $650 in June, $40 in August, and $900 in November. Same total, wildly different feeling. And that unpredictability is exactly what causes people to panic, sell a perfectly fine car the moment it needs an unexpected repair, because the bill feels like a betrayal instead of the statistically normal cost of owning a vehicle with 200,000 miles. Let's talk about depreciation, because this is where a high-mileage Camry actually behaves completely differently from every other car ownership video you've ever watched. A new car loses roughly 20% of its value in year 1 and continues losing value on a steep curve for the next 4 to 5 years. A Camry with 200,000 miles has already absorbed almost all of that curve. It's not going to lose 20% of $4,500 in a year. The depreciation curve has flattened out into something closer to a slow, gentle decline, sometimes just a few $100s a year, because the car has already shed the vast majority of the value a newer version of the same car would still be losing. This is the single most underappreciated financial advantage of buying at this mileage point. You are buying a car after almost all of its depreciation has already happened to someone else. Now, here's the trick nobody outside the used car world talks about. And it's the actual hidden mechanism behind why so many high-mileage Camrys keep changing hands instead of going to the scrapyard, because the car has already depreciated close to its floor, and because Toyota parts are cheap and widely available due to the sheer number of these cars on the road. A Camry with 200,000 miles has what's called a positive repair to value ratio for far longer than almost any other vehicle in its class. A $900 transmission service or a $600 water pump job sounds expensive in isolation, but compare it to the cost of financing a replacement car, where a modest new commuter sedan runs $28,000 to $35,000 today, and the math flips entirely. Spending $900 to keep a car worth $3,500 running for another year is a completely different financial decision than spending $900 on a car worth $25,000, and it's a dramatically better decision than taking on a 5-year auto loan at current interest rates just to avoid the repair. This is the entire reason the used Camry as a financial strategy exists as a genuine, rational choice, and not just a meme about reliability. Let's look at a real case, because this is where the theory either holds up or falls apart. A driver bought a 2012 Camry LE with 198,000 miles for $4,800. First year, an $85 oxygen sensor, a $340 set of front struts that the seller hadn't disclosed were original, and a $60 battery. Total, $485. Not bad. Second year, the timing chains started rattling on cold starts. The shop quoted $1,150 for the timing chain, guides, and water pump as a combined job, because once you're in that far, you replace everything connected to it rather than paying labor twice. That single repair, on paper, looked like a complete disaster. Panic sell territory. But the shop also confirmed that the transmission and engine internals were in excellent condition, no metal in the oil, and clean compression across all 4 cylinders. The owner paid the $1,150, and 3 years later, the car was sitting at 240,000 miles with no major issues since. Total repair spend across 4 years, just under $2,400, against a car that would have cost $28,000 to replace with anything comparable in reliability reputation. That's the optimistic scenario. And it's not a rare one. It's the median outcome for a well-maintained example of this specific car. Here's the realistic bad scenario, and it usually starts the exact same way. Someone buys a 200,000-mile Camry with no service history, no pre-purchase inspection, purely on the reputation of the badge. 6 months in, the check engine light comes on. It's a cheap fix, an ignition coil, $180 installed. 3 months later, another coil fails, because if one's original at 200,000 miles, the rest usually are too. Another $180. Then the AC compressor seizes in July, $650. Then the one that actually breaks the bank, a hidden pre-existing head gasket seep that the seller knew about and didn't disclose, which the buyer ignored because it's just a little coolant loss, until it turned into an overheating event on the highway that warped the head, a $1,800 to $2,400 repair on a car that's only worth $4,000 to begin with. At that point, the math simply doesn't work anymore. Nobody spends $2,000 to fix a $4,000 car. The car gets sold for parts or scrapped, and the owner is out the original purchase price plus every repair along the way, with nothing to show for it. That's the difference between the good outcome and the bad outcome on the exact same model of car, and the gap isn't luck. It's almost entirely determined by one decision made before the purchase. Did you get a pre-purchase inspection and a real maintenance history, or did you buy on faith in the badge alone? So let's build the actual break-even math, because this is the number that should drive your decision, not the vibe of the brand. Say you buy the Camry for $4,500 and budget realistically for repairs at the higher end of the industry average, $1,800 a year. Add insurance at $900 a year and fuel, since a Camry from this era typically returns 28 to 33 miles per gallon combined at roughly $1,600 a year for an average driver putting on 12,000 miles. Total annual cost of ownership, somewhere around $4,300 a year, not counting the upfront purchase. Now compare that to financing something newer. A modest new or lightly used compact sedan, financed over 5 years at current interest rates, runs $450 to $600 a month in loan payments alone, before insurance, which is typically higher on a financed vehicle because lenders require full coverage, and before fuel. That's $5,400 to $7,200 a year just in the loan payment, before a single other expense. The Camry, even accounting for its unpredictable repair bills, comes out meaningfully cheaper every single year for as long as the powertrain holds. And remember, the powertrain on this specific car is usually good for another 100,000 miles beyond where you bought it. This is the actual financial thesis behind the 200,000-mile Camry, and it's the thing every "just buy new, it's more reliable" argument misses. It's not that the Camry never breaks. It breaks constantly, in small, annoying, unpredictable ways. It's that the cost of those breaks, spread across a year, is still dramatically cheaper than the guaranteed, fixed cost of financing something newer, for as long as the two systems that actually matter, the engine and the transmission, keep holding up. And on this specific car, statistically, they usually do. But there's a ceiling here, and it's important to be honest about where it sits. This math works because the entry price is low and the powertrain has a long remaining life expectancy. It stops working the moment either of those things changes. If you're buying at 250,000 or 280,000 miles instead of 200,000, you're closer to the actual end of the engine's realistic lifespan. And the same repair math that looked rational at 200,000 miles starts looking like throwing good money after bad. And if you pay too much up front, if you pay $8,000 or $9,000 for a Camry with 200,000 miles because it looks really clean, you've erased the single advantage that makes this whole strategy work in the first place, which is buying an asset that has already absorbed almost all of its depreciation. So here's where this actually lands. A 200,000-mile Toyota Camry is not a free car, and it is not a ticking time bomb. It is a specific, calculable financial bet, and the odds are genuinely in your favor, but only if you play it the way the math demands. Get the pre-purchase inspection, get the service records. Budget $1,500 to $2,000 a year for repairs you can't predict the timing of, not the amount. And understand that you're not buying reliability in the sense of nothing will go wrong. You're buying a powertrain with real years left on it, wrapped in a bundle of smaller parts that are all going to need attention on their own separate schedule. The people who get burned by these cars aren't the ones who bought them. They're the ones who bought the reputation instead of the actual car sitting in front of them. The engine was never really the risk. It was everything bolted around it, and whether you bothered to find out which parts of that bundle were already ticking before you signed the check.